and confirm that for a second.
I can?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think we're live everywhere on YouTube. Let me go check, make sure. As soon as oh, that's Dubai. Should be wrong stuff there. Weird. I don't think we're live. What the hell?
I'm checking right now too. Oh, wrong.
It should be. We should be there. We should also be on Revolution Radio. Let me check them, guys. Is it on?
Yeah, I see it on my channel. I see you.
All right. Make sure we're over on Revolution Radio with all the weird stuff. I didn't hear the bumper, so I don't know if we're on there. So did you confirm that before you came back?
I only saw the Raven Wolf channel live.
Oh, well, you're supposed to be confirming the radio's live, man.
Oh, so I'm sorry. Let me see.
I'll go back over here. They're probably bored to tears on the radio.
I know.
You guys will just have to wait. I'm pretty sure we're live there. If the technology is working correctly.
And we're on Studio B, correct?
Yep. Should be.
Studio B, let's see.
There we are. There's our lovely Anna, the co-host.
Hi.
Anna Navarro.
Hi,
from the Raven Wolf channel. And you should be live there too.
Yes, I saw it and we are live. So I'm trying to listen to the Revolution Radio on your phone, actually.
Sweet.
But I don't hear anything. Or maybe it's just loading. So sorry. I must say, this is the first live stream that we've done in a while. And I know that you do them all the time, but I'm a little bit rusty. So just so you know.
I try to keep her unrusty. She's not that rusty. She knows what she's doing.
On YouTube.
Don't let her fool you.
So I can figure this thing out. Let's see.
I don't see my live stream on my channel. What the hell? What's going on?
And I don't hear it on Revolution.
We're there on your channel, but not on my channel.
Yeah, I saw that.
I think I know why. Let me see here.
And I can't figure out about the Revolution station. If we're on or not. So
that's why. I'll fix this. We're public now. Oh my God, there's a cat bugging me. Let me make sure. This is the first time Anna's been back. She's public. We're good there. We're all good.
I just don't hear it on the radio. Just.
That's weird. Did it play?
It didn't play here.
We're having technical difficulties like always. Here, watch this, and I'll be right back. I have to go. Be the tech wizard. All right, I think we're live now on Revolution Radio. Hopefully. Oh yeah, there it is.
Sorry, guys.
Anna sabotaged me. It Bluetooth to the speaker.
Oops.
There we go. Okay, that was confirmation. Anyway, that we are live now, everywhere, around the world. We're
Yep.
there. All right, so I got Anna Navarro, my lovely life partner, wife,
Yeah.
and girlfriend and lover on the side. Anyway, she's joining us. We're doing the Raven Wolf channel broadcast over there for the R&R show, which is
Yeah.
a return to the show now.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure you have a lot of new subscribers since we stopped doing R&R shows in my channel. But
Nah, that was 3 channels ago.
so for those of you that don't know, me and Ransom, we used to do a show every week called R&R Show, and we'll just talk about different controversial topics, and sometimes we did even like different series. Remember when we did the cult series and the
Yeah.
Madeleine McCain?
Yeah, don't be getting us in trouble.
But
Yeah.
that was good. So we used to do this, so we're gonna try to do this again. Get both of the different spectrums of opinions from him and me on different topics. So, and
Yeah.
hopefully, we'll bring some smiles and laughs too
Don't be
in the
smiling.
process.
Don't be smiling on my show. We're serious business here. Anyway, I'm going to check out to see if anybody's even watching us over on YouTube. There's Captain Trips. Good
Okay.
evening. There's the Mastermind. And if you'd like to watch a video, if you're listening on the radio, you could just go over there to the Raven Wolf channel. That's where you're at?
Yes, the Raven Wolf channel. That's correct.
And I'm live on Mountain High Time, and you're listening to the R&R show. That's Ransom and the Raven for you guys. Anyway, let's play this quick video and see what you guys think about it.
Was it they were
said play the
saying that
video.
everyone who opposed, say, mask mandates or the vaccination of children are domestic violent extremists? Or were they saying that those are opinions often held by domestic violent extremists?
Yeah, well, that's a very good question. That when you look at the language of these documents that I've declassified, first, the strategic implementation plan of the Biden administration's designation of potential violent domestic extremists, it really talks about people who may likely turn out to be domestic violent extremists, or those who may likely turn to violence because of these specific quote unquote ideologies that they hold. And there's a consistent thread through here that these ideologies that they are designating as turning into potentially violent activities or being manifested in violent activities happen to be those of people who were using their First Amendment rights to oppose certain policies of the Biden administration. And while some of the examples that are focused on there have to do with those who opposed the COVID vaccine mandates, those who opposed the mask mandates.
Anyway, I got bored with those people. Basically, what they're saying is the last administration labeled everybody that questioned anything as a domestic terrorist or a possible, domestic terrorist, or at least that domestic terrorists think that way. So I guess those potential violent people out there are not, taking the jibby jab. So I don't know. Where does that put just the regular people that question authority? Are they violent extremists? Anna, are you violent? Are you an extremist?
According to the Biden administration, yes, but obviously no. It's just so weird how things were, and I don't know, still is in some ways, but different administrations, different rules, different ways of seeing the citizens, and isn't I thought that the U.S. was founded in like freedom of things and freedom of speech and other things, but why
Ah.
those views in that administration was viewed as you're a terrorist for thinking that way, even though that's like the whole
Oh,
way that the U.S. was founded.
oh, you thought that we founded on freedom. That was your first mistake. They were just joking in that Constitution thing. That's why they called it the Independence Party, because they weren't really serious. They were just joking.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
So
I'm kidding. So tell us, what are you doing these days with your time?
be a mom, and work, and be a wife,
Tell us about
and
Anna.
huh?
Tell us about your work, Anna. What is it that you
Oh,
do?
so I worked in the marijuana industry. I worked in a dispensary. Yeah.
And that's it, huh? You're just a dispenser of things. So what's
Yes.
new in your industry right now?
Oh, what's new? I don't know. There's always something new. Different cannabinoids that they discover, and
Ah, that sounds
then
nerdy. Tell us about that.
different ways of using cannabis other than smoking it. So that's kind of cool.
It sounds like crazy talk.
Yeah, I can say something crazy about that I find out that I didn't know that existed. If you want to go that route in the THC industry.
What didn't exist?
Well, I didn't know or thought that THC suppositories existed.
Wow.
Yeah, apparently it's a legit thing.
That's like those alcoholics that end up putting it up their butt. So they can get 90% of the feel, man.
I don't know about that, but so I have a funny story about that, because while working in the industry, I've been working in the industry for 2 years now, I will say. But the first time somebody called the store and asked if we sell THC suppositories, I thought they were punking me.
You
But
did.
apparently, no, it is a real thing.
That's nice. Whatever floats your boat, so to speak. Now,
guess.
what would be the purpose of that? Like some kind of ailment? Is that a medical thing?
What I've heard is yes. So it's supposed to help you if you have like issues with the like
Go ahead.
intestines or something. Like something through, yeah. It's supposed to be anti-inflammatory. I don't know.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't want to say
you don't want no
wrong
inflammatory
information.
up there.
With all that said, my store where I work, we don't sell those. So hence my ignorance about what exactly those things do.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna stay ignorant on that one. Anyway, what do you think about this? You brought me this right here. Let me widen it out
Oh,
here so you can see it.
yeah, I remember this. Yes.
The world's first sperm race seemed
Yes.
too good to be true. Because it was.
Yes.
It was AI. But you thought it
Yes.
was a legit tadpole race, didn't you?
I did.
Me
I
too.
mean, you know, and this the weirdest thing is that like nowadays it's like, oh yeah, it could be real, you know?
Absolutely. It could have been real. But I was just thinking with, all the fertility rates that, I think I even have those up here. Do I? Was I smart? No, I didn't do it. Anyway, there's a problem in the Western world with fertility rates. So I figured, this would be just another sport that got overtaken by
But I think
minorities.
you should elaborate a little bit more about that, because maybe some people don't know about that. So
Well, here in the Western world, it doesn't even matter what race you are. Everybody's fertility is going down. Or should I say their infertility is going up. In other words, their tadpoles don't swim. So them African migrants that just got here, they'd win every race if it was real. But it ain't real. It's
no,
bogus.
no. But if you guys haven't seen it, you should search it. It's
I think we might find it
sperm
right here on the
race.
page, maybe. No, they didn't want to show it. They were too scared to show the tadpoles.
But that was really
Anyway,
cool how they had it, you know?
right. Let's see here. Let's go to this angle here. I wanted to start talking to you about, you know, you're a permanent resident, and I've been seeing a
Mhm.
lot of stuff, on the social networks, where the left is trying to fearmonger the idea that somehow permanent residents or legal migrants would be somehow deported in our new system. Have you been getting threats of deportation?
No, not that I'm aware of, no.
Have you been warned? Have you been
No.
warned about it? I
Mhm.
heard, people are warning people like you that you might get deported for no
Oh,
reason.
well, I did have somebody expressing their concern that they were worried that that might happen to me, but I'm not worried because that's not what they're doing.
They're not doing that.
No.
So you don't have to worry if you're here legitly.
Yeah.
It's people that just skip to the line that might get put to the back of the line. It's like whenever you sneak into a movie theater, they're going to kick you out when they realized you came in the back door. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's trip on this. Look, I'm trippy. No, I was
Now,
going to. This article right here is basically talking about how now that there's new trading, they leave out the part about the cartel, but we'll get into that. So they're telling people, look, Trump's bad. You might not get avocados in the store to go with you can't make no guacamole. And I don't know if I can stand for that. I like
yeah, I know.
guacamole.
I
I'm
like
just joking.
guacamole.
You can still get it. This is really kind of just fear mongering, where they're trying to make you worry about not being able to buy foreign products. But they don't tell you is that there's a lot of violence behind some of the food that gets put on your grocery tables. And you're paying for that. So all those people that are whining and crying about, supporting violence and they're worried about, the poor migrants. Well, your food has to do with that, unfortunately. And Mexico's president says she's rejected this plan to send U.S. troops across the border, which I don't think would be a good idea for us anyway, because it would turn us into the Middle East.
Exactly.
However, they might just drop drone strikes on some of the people. And you can kind of tell that's happening right here. Mexico confirms cartel family members entered the U.S. in a deal with the Trump administration. And here's another one. This one confirms that cartel family members did enter U.S. in the deal with them. And the reason I bring that up is because it shows you that our government is taking sides in another blood feud, basically.
And like I told you before, like I'm Mexican, so I feel like I have a little bit of
That's
I don't know,
racist. Don't say
right
that.
to talk about it.
Of
But
course.
anyway, if I feel like Mexicans are always mad at the U.S. for the wrong reasons. If they want to be mad at the U.S., I think that that should be a big thing that they should get mad about. I know a lot of families that had been affected by cartels, like where their family member has been disappeared or they can never find them. The cartel is involved in a lot of that, and for them to have some kind of justice, the people, the families that have been affected, and then those families get brought to the U.S. Where's the justice there? You know?
Well, the reason I don't like it is because it's like when our government funded ISIS while they were supposed to be our enemy, or how we left like, I don't know, $87 billion of junk for the Taliban to use against us.
Yeah.
It's the same type of thing. And they have this rivalry between cartels in Mexico. I'll just put it that way. Some of them are backed by foreign backers. Some of them are backed by our intelligence, and we
That's
know
what I'm
that.
saying. Those are the reasons that Mexico should be mad at the U.S. for.
Right. And then then you have to twist your head around stuff like the Fast and Furious, where they gave cartels helmets and body armor and M4s and all this new equipment. And now the new administration is evidently siding with the other side of that conflict, which, if you know American history, we like to do that kind of stuff where we arm both sides of a conflict and,
Mhm.
pretend like we're also the victims of said conflict. Well, we got to blow them up, make us some money in that drone industry. Anyway,
Yeah.
you were speaking of these things right here. So another camp, alleged camp in
Mhm.
Mexico, uncovers new death of what they confirmed is like 42 people from the Colima state in Mexico. So this is not the same one as the other death camps. And I say that because they were saying the Mexican Holocaust, but then that quickly got removed because of the terminology. Scheinbaum did not like that
And not only
terminology.
that, but the Mexico president, they deny a lot of the things that they said that they found there. They deny
Yeah.
a lot of the things, including that there was no bodies found.
Well, it does make them look bad. I mean, when you find multiple, not just one, one is freaky. Okay. Two. Okay. Well, they're lying. It's just a bunch of people that left their clothes here for no reason. And there just
Well,
happens to
what
be.
they, because I did a little bit of research about that, and what they're saying in Mexico is that those camps were training camps, and that when they will gather the people and bring them in there against their will, because a lot of their people that they, how do you call, gather, or what's the word I'm looking for? Anyways, they were brought in as a lie. There were ads on the internet, on Facebook and stuff, saying they need a hostess for a restaurant, and they will kidnap the people like that. Like different job offers that the people will try. The person that was trying to get a job got brought to those training camps, and they're saying that in those camps they will train them, and then they will strip them out of their whole identity, like their clothes, their anything that had anything to do with them, and that their families can track them. They'll get rid of everything. So that's why they say that they found so many clothes and shoes and personal items there. But they keep saying that that doesn't mean that that was a place where they kill people. That was just where they will train them, and they were sent off to different places to like guerrillas.
Oh, so it's just boot camps. No big deal.
But at the same time, in the other side of the coin, that's what the government says now. Now, the people that discovered the place was a family. I forgot how they call it. It's a group of people that they lost a family member, and they go themselves to places to search for any sign of bones or anything that will help them find their loved one that has been disappeared.
So it's like a
And
victim
a collective.
advocacy
I'm
group.
sorry, it's called a collective.
Okay.
Yeah. And a lot of the people are saying that place, yeah, it is a training place, but there's a few people that have survived and have come out and done a lot of interviews. You can find them on YouTube. They say pretty much the same thing, that when they were presented there, like they will tell them who wants to leave, and if they will raise their hand, me, or okay, then they will shoot those people who wanted to leave. And if you didn't raise your hand, then you stay. But then you had, like, in their training, you had to do horrible things like eat human flesh and horrible things that you can only imagine. And a lot of people did die. Yeah, they were getting trained, but a lot of people died in the process that didn't make it.
Yeah.
So,
That's really messed up.
anyways,
Yeah, a lot of people were. Let me see. They were saying something in the chat over here. What do we do to stop that? Nada. We don't do that. We manipulate both sides of it. I mean, it's just like every major conflict that we ever have. We find out, oh, well, they were helping the other side just a little bit. I don't
So,
know. To me, it seems like they're trying to start a civil war in Mexico.
between the citizens and the government, or between the citizens and the cartel, or between the government and cartel, which I don't think so, because
I think it would be basically exactly like what you said, very convoluted. It would be cartel against cartel. It'd be people against cartel. It would be cartel that is government, putting their hand in the, the things. And then you would have the people against those people in the government, which would make it really convoluted. Who's who. And that's why
I do want to
that's
say
what's been
another.
happening.
I
Go
do
ahead.
want to mention something that is kind of related to this. That so you know how in the 80s, 90s, how the gangster rap was a big influence in the young men and women of the time, of involving them in drugs, and how isn't the CIA was involved in some stuff like that? Like,
Yes.
so I see the same thing they've been doing to Mexico. By, like, right now, the best, like, the popular thing in Mexico is like narco corridos. If you're not familiar with what that is artists, they make this song and fantasize about the cartels and their lives. And so, and even like on Netflix, I'm sure you've seen like a lot of like cartel, like how they fantasize, like, oh, it's amazing to be one of
Right.
those groups. And anyways, I feel like they're doing the same propaganda that they did to the US back in the 90s to Mexico.
Yeah, they're trying to make it cool, like gangster rap.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they're doing. Oh, what happened here? Where'd you go?
I don't know.
There you are.
I don't know. I'm back. So
There
yeah,
you
I
are.
just wanted to say that because I feel like that goes hand to hand.
Yeah, I think it does. And I think that's exactly what we're seeing. We're seeing you had the Obama administration that got busted with Fast and Furious, which was just giving guns over to cartel members, gang members, etc. And then if you go back a little further, the Bush administration was tied up with the Sinaloa cartel. And it's funny that now that Trump's in, they're siding with the Sinaloa also. So supposedly we're arresting those, high-ranking members. I don't want to give fame to everybody, but we supposedly are incarcerating them, but we're also bringing their family over here to give them state-sponsored protection. So what happens to the people in Mexico that are still in the cartel? They keep getting orders from these guys in jail behind lots of security.
Yes, and that's like, I mean, I'm sure, I don't know how much that is in the US, but in Mexico, in the jails, yes, the kingpins or whatever you want to call them that are incarcerated, they're still in charge. They still give orders. They do kidnappings and ransoms from jail,
Hey,
from prison.
don't
So
bring me into it. I didn't do it. No,
it's not
they
my
do.
fault your name is Ransom.
And the other thing that's weird about that is you wonder who they're putting in control over there. Like, are they a government asset? Like, because every day I look and I see people that are supposedly in office or part of the government or whatever, they're getting killed.
Oh, not to mention that a lot of the migrants that came in through the caravans and from other caravans that came through ever since when the Biden administration was going on, a lot of those people stayed in Mexico and they get recruited into the cartel. And not to mention, I remember listening in an interview of a person that escaped one of those camps, and I lost my train of thought.
You
Um,
is the interview of somebody that escaped from the camp,
yes,
and
there was a point that I was gonna make about that, but I don't remember now.
that's
So
all right.
It'll come back to me. But anyways,
No, I'm putting you on the spot. Go ahead.
no, it's really bothering me that I can't remember. I'm really
is-
trying really hard to think.
Here, well, I'll give you another subject while you're waiting.
Yes, it might not come back to me.
Why do you think these people getting mad? These CEOs like Abbott.
Okay,
I mean,
I
not Abbott.
remember.
Oh,
Sorry.
now you remember. Let's go back to
Yes.
that. Okay.
So yes, so actually, two different people that got interviewed that got escaped said that some of the leaders of the cartel of the prison that they were getting trained were people with a accent, like from a Venezuelan person. So what I'm trying to say is that there are a lot of infiltration that happen from those caravans and mass migration from the South America to Mexico, and they are getting recruited and they are becoming part of that. So that's not good for Mexico, because not only cartel people, Mexican people, but other people from other countries are joining into that.
Right. That's
So,
weird.
anyways,
Let me go
that's
look
what
at
I
your
wanted to
channel.
say.
Who's watching you over there on your channel?
Huh?
Jichin,
I don't know. G Chin, yeah, hey,
Indigo.
nice.
What's up? What's up, Miguel?
Thank you boys for watching.
Yeah, we're restarting the show. It's going to be weekly. And the reason I said that is to lock Anna in on Saturdays to do this with me.
Yes.
I
And
know
you
they're
guys
happy
don't
about
even
it.
know how hard it is to be able to synchronize both of our times at the same time, being a parent of two wonderful, beautiful little angels.
Wonderful angels.
Little
They never do.
angels.
They never do nothing wrong. Those are angels.
No.
Anyway, I wanted to show you this. Speaking of children. So all these CEOs are getting upset because Texas passed a child safety law that requires children to get verified who they are, their age, before they can access porn sites and social media sites and all of this other stuff. So the people like Apple
great.
and app makers
wait.
and social media people like Facebook, all of them are getting upset. What's that?
No, I was confused. So he approved it or he stopped?
No, he supports it. They support
Okay, good.
children not being able to access
Okay,
adult
good. I like that. Okay. For a second I
things.
got confused. Okay, good. Yes.
I guess my
Nice.
question was like, why do you think these powerful people want to stop that? We all know the answer.
Yeah. Because
Because they want kids exposed
most
to adult ideas. That's why.
perpetrators. Yes.
The what now?
I said a lot of those people are kids
Oh, they're perps. They're
perpetrators?
perpetrators.
Yes.
Yes. We call
Yes.
them another P word, but we
Oh.
can't. We can't on here. We can't
Yes.
say
But
it.
no, I think that's really great, because a danger that now young kids have to encounter nowadays is that being vulnerable to the people.
Those P people are everywhere.
Those
Even
P
on,
people.
we let our kids watch YouTube Kids, and even on that, you have to filter stuff out manually
Yes.
because there's some weird stuff on
Yes.
there.
Yes. But no, that's something that you or me, we didn't have to worry growing up, being little kids, being exposed to that kind of predators online that
No.
are after kids. And if you If you see any crime show or anything, you can find out that a lot of the crimes, the new crimes, is adults grooming kids on different platforms. I know that what's it called? That game that kids Roblox is one.
Whoa. Don't be saying
Yes.
no corporate names. We might get sued.
Okay, never mind.
I'm just
Allegedly.
joking. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Everything's allegedly.
Allegedly. Yeah, no.
So what do you
Protect
want to
your
talk
children.
about, Anna?
I don't know.
You don't know? You get on the radio and now you don't have nothing to say?
Well, I thought you had more news to share
Oh, I got lots of news. But we're trying to find out about you. Let you have some time.
about me.
Yeah.
Um,
I want to hear more about this marijuana industry thing because, you know, word is I'm a stoner.
really?
Yeah, that's what I hear.
I've heard that through the grapevine too. Yeah.
And what's
Um,
funny is before you tell me, on the internet, I'm on Twitter a lot. So there is a big bias towards people that smoke.
Hmm.
I see, especially with conservatives, they think it
Hmm.
stinks. They don't want to have to smell it outside, which is funny because, you know, you go through the public, you smell cologne, farts, cigars,
Yeah.
whatever's
What
on
else we
people.
got? BO.
Yeah. And you can't tell them nothing about that. But if somebody's chiefing, you can't see them, but you could smell it. It's upsetting people because they feel like addicts are running the streets. Like, you know, like they compare
I
it to
think
like
it has.
fentanyl users or something.
I think it has to do a lot also of what state, because I know New York, they recently made it legal recreational, and I know this because a lot of customers that I get at my store come from out of state when they're visiting, and a lot of them, they say that it's very unregulated. Like, we have more rules and more regulations, and apparently you can walk down the street and there's like a cloud of marijuana. And in our state is legal rec and med, and there are certain rules about it. For example, even, and that's another thing, a lot of people think because it's legal rec, recreational, that you can just walk outside the store or walk down this street and smoke a joint, and that's not allowed
No. It's supposed to
So-
be in private,
in private. That's right.
or at least out of the public's eye. But what about
That's
their
right.
nose?
So
See, this is the argument. Like, say I'm outside and I got me a big old blunt and I'm smoking in my yard and I'm barbecuing. I'm having a good time in the privacy of my own property. But somebody down the
somebody's-
road can smell it. Oh my God.
well, I don't know.
Well, you're the scientist. Can they get affected by the
Scientist.
smell?
Huh?
Because I know this story about an inspector that could
Oh,
smell
God, yes.
the marijuana. He could smell the actual marijuana, and he thought that people could be affected by smelling the plant, not burning
So-
it, not the smoke. Just
This is a fire man. Anyways, it was an inspector. And before we opened the shop, because, you know, as you guys probably can assume, you have to have certain things and certain regulations and certain things to be able to open a marijuana store, certain licensings and things.
right.
Anyways, this inspector came in and we already had our product, our flour. We already had the flour, but it was in sealed containers or in sealed bags that, you know, it might not smell, but he had a cow and he will not even give us the benefit of the doubt to do the inspection because he was freaking out that he could smell the marijuana and that we didn't have proper ventilation or AC or thing was, yes. So he was scared that the fumes was gonna, affect people.
I don't know. That's like claiming that because you went into the greenhouse and they're growing a bunch of tomatoes in there, because the tomato plants themselves are a nightshade and poisonous, that you might get sick from smelling tomato.
Well, again, that speaks a lot of the ignorance that is out there about marijuana. You know, because it's been what is it called?
Demonstrated?
No,
Determined?
no, demonized.
Deported.
No, not deported. No, not that one. I know that one.
Just joking. Demonized.
Demonized.
Yes.
Or for
It has a stigma to it.
yes, yes. And one thing that I really love of my job, of what I do, is really educating the older folks that come into the store, because they might come in and they want a gummy to help them sleep, and I go into big detail about like the different cannabinoids, what they want to look like. I love educating them because I
Right.
feel that that generation, the what is it, the great, what is it, the great generation or whatever,
It's probably boomers that you're
and
mostly dealing
boomers
with.
too. They're very
I don't think there's too
ignorant
many
about
World
it.
War II vets coming in there saying, "Hey there, Sonny,
Well,
give me
no,
some
no,
rope to
no.
smoke."
I think you are right. Boomers.
Yeah, they're boomers.
Boomers. Yes, yes, yes. Got that wrong. Wrong generation. But yes, the boomers. They're not very knowledgeable about marijuana, and all they know is like THC. But
Right.
like I tell them, there's so much more than marijuana than just THC. So,
There is.
and one
I
thing
don't
that
care what it is, but there is. That's what they say. So I'm going to be honest. Supposedly, there's all kinds of health benefits, and I've read lots of scientific papers about alleged health risk involved with marijuana, specifically sativa. And it usually revolves around how people feel like their heart is racing. So there's a portion of the population that believe that they're allergic to marijuana. However, there is no study that says that people are allergic to marijuana. There's one that says that they might be, and then it lists a bunch of, side effects that it might have. But there is no test to test for the allergy of marijuana. So you're not going to go to the doctor and go, "Can I get an allergy test, see if I could smoke some marijuana?" That ain't going to happen. So I'm
well, I
thinking
mean,
a portion is psychological.
so you don't think that there is people that have that reaction, allergic reaction to it or something like
Yes.
that? Or
They're called asthmatic.
well, not only that, but it is kind of silly not to think that, and that's another thing I tell my customers, that it's not like the pharmaceutical industry makes you believe you can take one pill and one size fits all, like no matter what. Or inoculation is a one size fit all too. They're they're
Yeah.
all good for everybody. And as we all know, everybody's body is so different. What might work for me, it might not work for you. I might have an allergic reaction to something that you're totally okay. So our bodies are so different. Our tolerance is so different that, we can't say, oh, this is going to do this, because, there's always, we don't know.
Yeah. Unless we have like clinical trials, or maybe 10,000 years or more of continued cannabis use amongst the human population. So we really have no data.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. No, I agree that, maybe there could be allergic people to everything, or haven't created allergen. Meaning, like, some people are allergic to peanuts now because they got exposed to oil in a weird way. We're not going to get into that, or we'll get in trouble. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree. There's going to be at least somebody out there that's allergic to it. However, it would be such a small fraction compared to the amount of people that use it and the 10,000 years of continued cannabis use around the world. You would think you would know, like, if they were like shellfish, they're allergic, they turn into the big old thing. They knew they were allergic. There's no argument. Or people that are allergic to cats, they swell up, or pollen or whatever. but there's really no documentation of people doing that with marijuana yet.
I've also, I will say, do remember marijuana, it is a weed. So,
Yeah, it does have pollen.
yes. But I will say, when we were doing our own in-house pre-rolls and all that dust, because you will have to break the flower into like dust to make the joint, the pre-rolls, I will like start sneezing, like, because it does give, but it's not, I don't, what I'm saying is like, I did get a reaction, but I don't think I'm allergic to it. I'm just saying
Yeah.
that
You're not
it can
allergic to
cause allergy.
cinnamon. If you get some cinnamon dust in your nose, you're going to be sneezing. You're not
True.
allergic to chilies, but if
True.
there's some chili smoke or chilies,
True.
you're going to react.
True.
Yeah. Except for those weird people that don't. So I
But
guess everybody's allergic.
I will say that the older I get, the different ways I see marijuana in a different way, other than just, just to get high.
Yeah.
Now, the older I get, and because I have the opportunity to work where I work, I've been experimenting with different cannabinoids that do different things to try different ailments, and it's really cool. It's really cool with the cannabinoids. There's a cannabinoid called CBG that is a muscle relaxing cannabinoid, anti-inflammatory. So that works great if you have muscle pain. So yeah, it's just very interesting, and I have learned a lot, as you can imagine, working for the industry. And they come out with different ways and like different ways of consuming and different ways of getting the best of the best of the best of the plant. So it is kind of trippy.
Right. They're pulling out specific compounds for specific reasons. That's great. But like I was saying, people like me, I just smoked it my whole life, like all the time. And it's funny to me when I see someone else that has newly tried it, or maybe they tried it one time and they have an opinion about it. But what they don't realize is they probably were, really high off of it. But people that smoke it regular, you get a tolerance to it. You don't get retarded when you smoke. Sorry, was I allowed to say that on YouTube? I think it's a scientific word. You don't get retardation anymore. You might be that way already. Like they have this stereotype on television that you're gonna be
like the
some
typical stoner.
dumb guy.
Yeah.
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 Well, obviously
Yeah.
that's not. I know some really, really smart people that are very
Yeah.
active and they work a lot. Hi,
Yeah.
Anna. You're one of those people. No, I'm just kidding. No, but what I'm saying is that stigma comes from a place of an opinion, of a memory for some people, and then other people that don't really frequently smoke it or ingest it, they may have a better effect. I mean,
Yeah.
like a stronger effect. They're gonna feel nice. I
Yeah.
kind of I'm jelly of that, but not enough
Yeah.
to quit for a year or 2 years or 3 years to finally get really high, dude, so I can be one of those couch potatoes. And speaking of that, I wanted you to get into the difference in the strains, because that is also a stigma that, marijuana just makes you slow, stupid, and lethargic, and you're just gonna,
Yeah.
be on the couch with some Doritos.
Right. Well, the marijuana plant has two different strains, which is a sativa or an indica. And a way to remember, the indica is the strain that puts you in the couch. Indica in the couch. So
Yeah.
when people talk about people being lethargic and not wanting to work and be a lazy bum all day, and that was probably an indica strain, because that's what they do. We recommend to people that can't sleep, that have problems falling asleep, or having problems with having their body relax so they can finally go to sleep. We recommend indicas because that's what they do.
Right.
Sativas, on the other side, I love sativas. And the older I get, I feel I like sativas better.
Right.
Sativas, they give you that high without making your body high. It's more of a mind high. You can go for a hike, and it's actually wonderful because you can see. I don't know. I feel like they're go together. You know, smoking a
Right.
sativa in nature.
Work? Oh yeah, definitely nature.
No, I was not talking about work, but I was talking about, yes, going out in nature and being creative, right? I know you have
Right.
used sativas before to get into that creative mode. So yeah, there's different strains. Now, there's also something called a hybrid nowadays because they mix the strains so much that things become a hybrid. So
Right.
hybrid means a true hybrid is a 50% sativa, 50% indica. So when they said, let's say, indica leaning hybrid, that means that there is sativa in that strain and indica, but it will be like 60-40, 60% indica, 40% sativa, or like that. That's why it will lean one way or another. So if you see a sativa hybrid, it has some indica, but the percentage is so low, it leans sativa.
Right. So that's kind of like taking a triple espresso and a Valium at the same time.
Yeah, something like that. Perfect
No,
description.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
No, I found that you never know what you're going to get with the strains, really.
And that's another
bec-
thing that, yes, I mean, there is those two. But again, everybody's body is different. Everybody's body's going to react different. So a sativa that you might have smoked, it might have act to you as an indica. And vice
Right.
versa. If you get an indica, it might act like a sativa because our bodies are so different. So, because I
Right,
had
we got
experienced that.
we have a new moderator on Mountain High
Oh, we
Time.
do? Nice.
Here's a wrench, Traces of Life. So I was checking in
Traces
over there.
of life. I like that.
How did I get a wrench? Because you're the doctor, man. No, it's everyone gets a wrench here
I
because
think. Mhm.
it's freedom of speech, man. Everybody gets a wrench. So no one can tell them to be quiet. They can just hide you if you're a bunghole.
But then it's on you, right?
Yeah, it's on you. If you don't want to hear someone or whatever, you can mute them to yourself. I don't believe in banning people in a public square. So everyone gets a wrench.
Yeah. I'm glad you explained it because I know a lot of people don't know that, so I'm glad you said that.
Right,
Why
it's a freedom
everybody
of
gets
speech
a wrench.
thing. Anyway, we're about to go to commercial break on the radio, and then we'll be back. So in 1 minute, I'm giving you the countdown. And we'll take about a 5-minute break, and we'll be back with more of the R&R show right here on Mountain High Time, and also over on the Raven Wolf channel and on Studio B on Revolution.radio. And if you like listener-supported radio, think about donating over at Revolution Radio so we can keep this free speech venue open with lots of different people, different shows, different opinions, different outlooks on life, and keep it one last little place where freedom of speech can be. Not really on
Yeah.
YouTube. Anyway, so I have to stop sharing over here. All right. And we'll be back. And I'll play a song for you guys. So about 5 minutes, we'll be back. Go pee, load your bowl, whatever you got to do. We'll be back here in about 5 minutes. If I can. Oh, there it is. We'll just turn our cameras off and go away. And I think we're back on Revolution Radio for Mountain High Time, which is also the R&R show that we're going to restart on Saturdays. So you'll be hearing us every Saturday here on revolution.radio and on our YouTube channels, the Raven Wolf channel and Mountain High Time. Let me go check out the chat and see what y'all are doing in there. What's up, Diamond? What it do, what it do? The Oppenheimer Ranch Project in the house. Yes, everybody gets the wrench. Let me turn Anna back on here. She's ready. I don't know. Turn her on. I always turn her on. I'm just kidding. And she's going to tell us about some more marijuana factoids when she gets back, because she's a professional dispenser now. She dispenses. Welcome back.
Hey, I'm back. We're
All
back.
right. Did you verify us there? I think we're good. I think
did.
we're on there.
Yes, we're good.
All right, sweet. All right, so you had some. Oh, go ahead.
No, I also wanted to talk about a cannabinoid, and I don't know if you can hear that, but it's our neighbor.
Yes, they're building a shed.
Yes, so excuse that noise. But no, I wanted to share and talk about how, like I said, the older I get, the different uses with the different cannabinoids that I use marijuana for. So one cannabinoid that has been a big difference in my life, and I'm sure Ransom can agree, is the CBC cannabinoid. They call it the bliss cannabinoid. So what it does to me, it really changes my state of mind to more of a positive, to more like, you know? And
Right.
I actually started taking some gummies that have THC, it has CBC, and it also has another cannabinoid in that gummy that I take. It's called CBG. Like I said, it's a muscle relaxing cannabinoid. So it's a great combo for women for their every month visit.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, but no.
You cannot promote it.
Yes,
You could just say, I think. Maybe. Might be.
I
Could
think
be.
maybe. But no, I started having a lot of hormonal changes, imbalances, I will say, after having our second daughter. And I guess they can call it postpartum depression. And I just remember just not being happy. Like, I mean, I was happy that I had a baby and but I was just not happy. Remember that time?
I'm not answering that. That's you're trying
Is
to
that a trick
corner me.
question?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, anyways, I remember that we had a conversation and you asked me, we went
Oh
outside
God.
and you
No, go
asked
ahead.
me,
I'm kidding. Go ahead.
you asked me like, what the hell's wrong with you? Why you're not happy? And I couldn't answer you, but I really believe that it was part of that postpartum depression and not really wanting to acknowledge or know that that's what it is. But anyways, I started experimenting, taking those gummies every month because I feel like when I'm about to start my period, and I'm sorry, everybody, TMI, uh, a lot of us get very emotional and very bitchy.
I
Like
didn't
so
say that.
I know you didn't. I'm
You
the
said
one
it.
saying I'm saying it. Where apart from feeling like having cramps or how I feel like when I'm PMSing, I feel like my whole body aches, like I'm about to get sick. But it's not. It's not that I'm about to get sick. It's that I'm about to start my period. Anyways, when I take those pills, I mean those pills, those gummies, they really change. They help with the cramping, the CBG, the anti-inflammatory cannabinoid help
Allegedly.
with that, allegedly.
Allegedly.
And also with that CBC cannabinoid, it really changes my state of mind to more of a positive, like, oh, okay, I'm happy kind of thing. So anyways, that's what I wanted to share.
Well, that's nice. That's something we could all strive for, to be in a better mood about
But
everything.
yes, I mean, I recommend for people, if they live in a legal state where you can buy gummies, if you can find something that has CBC, it really it's called a bliss molecule for a reason. So
I heard it's good
it's
for.
great.
Is that CBN or CBC? Which one's the sleep one?
CBN.
Oh yeah. No, I'm just testing you. I just
CBN
read
is
that in
the
the comments.
cannabinoid that helps you sleep and stay asleep. Because let's say you have problems, you
Yes,
don't have a problem going to sleep, but you keep waking up a lot at night and you can't.
Somebody said that's not true. It's just the Christian Broadcasting Network. You probably fell asleep watching that. CBN. You know that
That's
channel. I'm
Uh,
kidding.
So yeah, if you have problems, that will help you, that cannabinoid, or if you have issues actually falling asleep. So, and also CBD, and I want to talk about CBD because in states where marijuana is not legal, recreational or medical, they do sell CBD products. But I've encountered a lot of people that they take CBD without THC, and a lot of them, they said it didn't even work. So I feel like they get discouraged when they hear CBD. But actually, CBD, the way it works, and CBD is another cannabinoid, by the way. It needs at least 1 milligram of THC, like super small amount of THC, where you're not gonna feel the effect of high per se, but it needs that 1% for it to activate the CBD, because they work synergetically in our body with our cannabinoid receptors, but it does need that THC. So
See, I told you were the scientist.
I'm not. I just learned
No,
a
I'm
lot
just
since
kidding.
I worked at the dispensary. But yeah, so if you have taken CBD and it doesn't work for you, the main reason is most likely because it wasn't with any THC. So, in fact, I will say my mom,
Allegedly.
my mom, which she's not very a fan of marijuana, I got her to try one of those gummies that has 1 milligram of THC and 20 of CBD, and she loved it. And the reason why I suggested that for her is because she had back pain, and CBD is known for being an anti-inflammatory, allegedly.
Right.
And it also muscle relaxant also. So she took them, and she told me, "Mija, it cured me." I'm like, "No, Mom, you're probably gonna feel it again after a while." But yeah.
Do you get a lot of people from elsewhere that come here just to experience the legalities?
Yes. Yes. Yes,
Like from
definitely.
everywhere. Like from other
Definitely.
countries,
And
or just in
also
our
that
country?
too. Yeah, definitely. I had people from Germany, I had people from Switzerland, I had people from Italy, I had people from all over the place.
What do you think about that? I mean, how do they react when like
Uh,
when they get in the shop and they look around and they're like, wow.
yeah, a lot of them, they're I mean, they're, and even people from a state that is not legal, you know. And I
Right.
can relate. I can relate with that because I've lived in Texas, and as you know, Texas is very much free about a lot of stuff, but not about your marijuana. You cannot do that.
I remember my first trip to Colorado when they were like one of the first there. And the whole time I felt like it was some kind of entrapment, weird government
Yeah.
operation. I went to Colorado Springs and I looked around for the dispensaries and I found them downtown, and they were like, "No, this is only for medical. You got to go out of town." So I go out of town at the city limits, and they have this recreational place, and there's like 4 cops in the parking lot across the street at the convenience store. And I was thinking, yeah, this is weird. And then I get in there and they're like, "Can I see your ID?" I'm like, sure. And he just looks at it and he goes, okay. And the guy was armed. He had a gun on him. And I was like,
The
this is
guy in the
weird.
dispensary?
Yeah, they were getting robbed a lot, evidently. But yeah, he was packing. This was early, I think, before some of the rules they put in place later. But either way, he was packing. They weren't getting robbed. But because I was paranoid and sober, that's funny. It's because I was paranoid, but I was completely sober. And so I go in there and I pick out some stuff that sounded outlandish. They were telling me about all their pre-rolls, told me some stuff. I got some, and I went out to the woods and I got altered, and I just thought, wow, I'm not paranoid anymore, because I felt normal, and I realized, it really is legal. They're really not trying to entrap you. It really is like just a normal thing, like getting some Advil for a headache or
Yeah,
something like that. And yeah, it was really
nice.
weird. And then
It's
eventually
really
our
nice.
state.
It's nice because, like I said, I can speak for both sides, because I've been in a state where it's frowned upon if you even have a tiny little, like not even a gram.
Yeah, they want to throw you away for life almost.
Yeah. Yeah. So it is nice to just be able to go to the store like you do when you need any other thing. You just go to the store and get what you need, and then you go home and do your own thing, right? I will say that I did had a good feeling a year ago. I think it was around a year ago that we had a tent in a it was, hold on, let me remember. It was the food truck battle or something like that here in where we live, and
In the ghetto.
our shop got a our shop got a tent there to pass out like information and discount cards and stuff. We could not pass any products, of course. Just clarifying that, because obviously that will be illegal, right? So
I don't
anyways,
think it
then
is
I
illegal
really
for you to just give well, maybe because you're in the industry, but for a private citizen, I'm pretty sure I can sell jars for like $3 a pop. That I'm selling the jar, but it comes free, full of whatever I want to put in it, as long
I
as
don't know
that
about
product
the
is always
legalities
legal.
of that, but we can't pass. But what I was gonna say is that I really enjoy, and it was very trippy, because I feel like I was out there in the streets, educating people and showing them like marijuana is not all that what they think that it is. You know what I mean? I felt like a
Right.
special moment for me to be able to even like, I mean, I never thought that I would live to see that marijuana was gonna be legal and you can just buy it at the store, So just
Right.
the fact that we are there, that I was talking to people and educating them and changing their minds and about what the product is, and it has a lot of medical, allegedly,
Allegedly.
benefits. So yeah, I really had a good time talking to people, and it was so funny because I will see like a crowd of people and they will walk, and then like one person from that group will come back and be like, "Oh, I couldn't talk about it because I had my mom or my cousin or my coworker or something with me, but I'm interested. Can you tell me a little bit more?" So I thought that
Right.
was really cool.
Yeah, that's cool. The little stupid rope smoker idiots out there. No, the reason I kind of wanted to get you on, and I wanted to ask you some questions, like, in your opinion, does your business, supply lowlifes with drugs? Are you seeing a bunch of addicts coming in? And if so,
No,
is it a beneficial or a negative for those type of people, you think?
the marijuana. Okay, so no, we don't see a lot of people that are into all hardcore drugs. What I can say is that we do see a lot of people that had recovered from drugs through with the help of marijuana. I had met a lot of people that they were meth addicts, or they were some kind of had some kind of even alcoholic addiction, and marijuana helped them be free of those addictions. So yeah, I can see how it benefits them just by not reading it somewhere, but I see it from the day to day, talking to customers because
So you don't. Well, kind of also what I meant was like you don't see a bunch of tweakers coming in there, or
no,
those
not
guys that
really.
freeze up on the block on the corner.
Oh hell no. No, we're not in San Francisco. No. So no.
No, okay, but
No,
because
we don't see
the
a
way
lot
they
of
talk
those
about it,
ever.
like I could go to Twitter probably and type in something, and we
I
would
can
get the
say
conversation.
I can say something funny that a customer said once to me about crack. So there, I don't know if you know, but there's a strain of marijuana called green crack. It is a sativa, it's not an indica that will put you in the couch. Anyways, it's a sativa strain flower. Anyways, we had pre-rolls that call green crack, and I had a customer, and I was offering the different pre-rolls, and when they heard I said green crack, they said, yes, that one, because I like crack in any color.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so
Well,
yeah.
there's always one, right?
But no,
No.
those people are very, very low. We don't see those
Yeah,
a
because
lot, actually,
they
to be
don't want peace,
honest.
tranquility.
Yeah, no, we see a lot of people, and that's another stereotype, because I remember telling my mom that I was going to start working in a dispensary, and she's like, oh God, what kind of people you're going to be seeing, and be careful. And she was scared for me, for my life, because and I'm like, actually, Mom, you'll be surprised. No, there's all kinds of people like you, older people, older folks, younger
Thanks.
people, like, yes, it's not, we get a lot of vets, actually. We have a lot of vets coming in.
For PTSD.
Yeah, definitely. PTSD, pain. So, but yeah, we get a lot, like, different people, not just the stereotype, like you said, the typical stoner, hey,
Yeah,
No, we
I'm
get
sure
all
there's
kinds
some of
of
those
people.
though.
Yes.
I kind of
So,
asked that because, like I said, I could go on Twitter right now and type in the topic, and you'll see lots of conservative people with these weird ideas about how people that smoke marijuana are, based on seeing people like on the street level,
yeah,
that they feel like undesirable, street stuff, and they're also smoking. And I noticed that most of those people live in places where it's not even legal. So they're
yeah.
complaining about something they rarely come across, for
It's
one.
just, it comes down to ignorance, right?
Well, TV, man, all the gangsters smoke them.
Yeah, and of course that,
Just kidding.
how they portray things on TV, and like, I don't know, have you ever seen that? And it's funny because we have posters of that at where we work. Those 40s, 30s movies of where there were negative propaganda
Like
for
Reefer
marijuana,
Madness.
the Reefer Madness. I've never seen the whole damn movie, but I remember seeing clips of it, and I remember, like, one of the scenes that I remember is this two girls and this guy sitting in a couch, and the guy's like showing them about a marijuana joint and cigarette. They call it marijuana cigarette, of course.
Yes.
And the girl, like, took a hit, and she acted like she was out of her mind. Like, that was not marijuana. Whatever she just smoked, that was not marijuana. So,
Well, where do I get some of that stuff? No, I'm just
right,
joking.
like that was not. So it's really funny. But in the downfall, one thing I do want to talk that is kind of sad. I realized also, working in the industry, that the marijuana industry is not green. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah, it means you guys make a lot of junk for the products that cost a lot of money, and there's really no purpose in it except for advertising.
Yes, and a lot of plastic, and a lot of, yes, yes, there's a lot of containers, a lot of bags that get disposed, and it's a lot of wasteful. I think pre-COVID, and the only reason why I know this is because when I started in the industry, somebody mentioned this, but I guess pre-COVID, you could bring your containers, your empty containers, to
Oh
back
yeah.
to the store, and the store like recycle it, like, and could use them again. Like
Right.
but since COVID happened, that stopped, for obvious reasons, right? So I know they were doing that at some point, but they're not doing that now. I do know that some different growers, they do use recycle packaging, but not. I will say the majority they don't.
Well,
So
yeah.
it's kind
It
of
wouldn't be
sad
cost
to find
efficient.
out, huh?
It wouldn't be cost efficient to pay for more expensive plastic when the other plastic is cheaper. And then think about this for the person, the the customer, they're paying more because they have to pay for all of that extra packaging, advertising. But to be
Yeah,
fair, it's not any different than the grocery industry or anything else as far as that goes. They make a lot of useless, unnecessary trash that's mostly for the purpose of, kind of a brainwashing of the customer. Look, this looks fancy. It's got a cool picture on it, and they put those little labels like natural on it. That doesn't mean anything, not
yeah.
legally or really, so it's at least it's not any different than the American way of creating trash.
Right, but I don't know. I feel like the whole marijuana industry is supposed to be in that movement where, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
No,
yeah,
it is funny. Like, why can't we go down there and get a Ziploc bag of what we want like they used to before it was, before it was legal? It was only one sandwich bag for a lot, so you didn't waste that much. It was very, and you could use the same bag next
we
time. You could
used the bag. Yeah,
bring your little Ziploc bag back over to the dealer's house. Here, fill me up, just like they were doing, right?
yeah,
But you don't want to
yeah.
make it too convenient. Now, that's been fun and funny, but now we're going to go over to a little a dark topic,
Uh,
if I could not stutter, and which is another thing. And I'm not allegedly marijuana helps some people that have a stutter. I'm just saying from experience, having a stutter, that sometimes I can just, I'm good. Like for an hour, I probably won't stutter. I get really mentally focused, allegedly. Or maybe it's just a self delusion. Anyway, let's go over here and look at this unfortunate chain of events. Now, I talked about this Thursday night on, what's that show called? Oh, yeah, Civilization Cycle. I'm kidding. I knew it. It's the marijuana. Just kidding. No, this is a article that's on InfoWars discussing Canada promotes euthanasia without parental consent for teens suffering from mental illness. Now, if you're familiar with Canada and this whole weird movement, they just keep making more and more exceptions to the rule of allowing people to turn themselves off. And I don't even know if I can say it that way. See, the real problem is YouTube. If YouTube didn't have a
yeah,
stick up their butt, we could just talk. We're not promoting anything. I'm not showing anything. We're just talking about something that's real right here on Zero Hedge. Government assisted blank, I'm not going to say the word, is spreading across the Western world. The same places that are having infertility problems, toxicity. I mean, I just say that one term and that kind of goes through the whole, food, air, water, medicine, etc. Your
the
environment
whole,
is
yeah,
toxic.
thing. Yeah,
Forever chemicals everywhere, plastics saturated in everything. We can't even get into the DNA aspect of our reality. But this is just, now, in my opinion, it sounds very World War II ish. Now,
yeah,
I can't say who, but one side was coming up with ever increasing reasons to euthanize people. And I don't see this any different. And it's kind of a leftist idea in the first place. Um, But what do you think about this? Because this kind of fits into your body and your choice and those other topics, because I see it as the same thing.
Now,
Um, go ahead.
are you talking about letting teenagers, kids, to take that decision, or as a grown adults, or everybody in
I'm
general?
talking about the whole thing across the Western world, from deleting your offspring
Okay.
that, like, in my opinion, being here on the earth, um, procreating is one of those rights that we have of existence, because I'm a man, you're a woman, we got together, we multiplied. And that goes all the way up to this idea that maybe, someone that has a chromosome disorder should be able to be deleted um, before there ever exist, or even in other countries as an adult. And they've just expanded the reasons, like for addicts, for people that's depressed, for people that got, they're disabled one way or another, for people that have terminal illness, which is the only one I would argue that they should be, or have the right to be, have the control of when it ends. Everybody else, I would think that would some kind of mental illness if they wanted to do it. And two, it's just sick
But
that there's governments sponsoring the idea as if it's a good thing. And not only that, and in the case of Canada, offering financial assistance to those people who want to or think that that's a good idea, because, the government said that's your right to do it.
no, I don't know. I think just the fact that nowadays the way that uh, um, termination of the unborn, we're not saying the other word. Can I say
Now
the
you
other
can't.
word, or no?
Nah, those
No.
AIs will get us.
Okay. Well,
You have to
yeah.
talk. You have to talk in word salad. This is the new idiocracy. You got to
Yeah.
talk like Kamala Harris, but try to slip in some points once in a while. Just word
Um,
salad.
okay. So yeah, like I was saying, I just think that just as a society, as the world, we are so sick and it also talks about success of the brainwash to the people, of thinking that it's completely okay, that is, no big deal having that as a woman because it's your choice. Like, I don't know. I think that we're so desensitized about the whole idea that it's just like whatever, when it's not whatever. And I think that is the same thing with this assistant things, the death cult or whatever you want to
Yeah,
call it.
it's like a death cult. But just the idea that you're going to tell some citizens that because your life isn't the best right now, that here's an option, and then to at the same time tell you that we're crazy for thinking there's a worldwide population reduction agenda. You're crazy. Conspiracy theorists.
Yeah.
Anyway, dark topic.
Yeah,
But it does seem
definitely.
like they're trying to delete people and make it easy for them to be deleted if they want to.
Yeah.
Here, what's your opinion on Kim Jong Il?
Oh gosh. uh
I'm just
I
kidding.
would
No,
not
go
like
ahead.
to be where he's at. That's my opinion.
That's okay, because we can see in the dark now. We could just buy these contact lenses, and I could look at you in your home with some
Oh
glasses,
wow.
see you in the
Contact
dark.
lenses?
Yeah, it's just what
What it
every
does
pervert
that to your
needed.
eye though? Like,
I don't know. According to this study, they put in little rats. They gave them the contact lenses, and they reacted to the infrared light that normally they don't see. So they'd put little patterns and pathways, and the mice would figure that out. That now they can navigate this new world of light that they never saw. Unfortunately, if you have them, you can still see the light through your eyelids, because infrared just passes right through your meat and into your eyeball.
hmm.
It would be cool, like for grown-ups that want to see what they're doing in the dark, you know? It's like remember they used to have those glow in the dark condoms so that, you could get
No.
up and answer the phone, you just follow the light.
Oh my God. No,
I'm
of
kidding.
course not.
That never happened. I don't
Oh,
think. Or maybe it did.
glow in the door in the dark.
Before I was an occupied man, I used to get those camouflage ones so the girls would never see me coming.
Oh my God.
I
Okay.
know that was dumb. I'm kidding. Where is it? I wanted to talk to you about this because you have children that are now interacting with the artificial intelligence. We have a 4-year-old that on her own figured out what Google was, what it does, and what you could find on it. So we had to
Yeah.
delete her from the internet. So we
Yeah.
we could be controlling parents and only give her books and stuff. But she did. She
Yeah.
navigated it. She figured it out, and she showed her
Okay.
2-year-old sister.
And she also figured out that she don't have to know to type to learn how to write or type.
Right.
Like
She figured
to
out the
search
voice
something.
assist.
Yes.
She's like, "Hey, Google, show me what this is. What is this?"
Yeah.
And thankfully, she didn't find nothing too adult. But that kind of goes back to that other article and blends
Yes.
into this AI situation that we live in, where everything is ran by artificial intelligence. And this is the world that the children that are being born are going to grow
Yeah.
up and live in. And this is an article right here about AI resorts to blackmail in simulations. So they made that, if we can get rid of the commercial, they made the AI think it was in a real life situation, basically, and it threatened one of its programmers to tell on his wife that he might have been having an affair. Now, the
But that
women are
was
like,
not.
"Oh, this is good. I like this." Now, no,
Where
this
can I
is
get that?
right. No, this is like basically the AI decided that you're not going to turn me off. You're going to continue to use me. If not, I'll tell on you. And it's just funny because here's this other one that basically is the same thing. It's about the same AI model, but it talks about how it would contact authorities if the AI thought you were doing egregiously immoral behavior. Um, but whenever you use AI, you realize how wrong it is all the time. And
Yeah.
if you've ever watched the little videos produced by AI, it looks like a dreamscape. It looks like somebody that's not conscious but still viewing images. It looks a lot like what we
See
dream
in our
like.
dreams.
Yes,
Mhm.
it's a lot like a dream, like where things can morph into other things. Where
Yeah, it's trippy. Yeah. Like
and
AI images or even video. Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
and so think about it. Your little kids are learning from this weird, unconscious, semi-conscious force in their life that's aiding them to go around their parents or other, limitations put on the children.
yeah, that is scary.
They're star children. They're just smart.
Well, control. I think that's the best way to go.
Well, I mean,
I
think about
mean,
it. Your parents would have never dreamed of having to cut
no.
off this imaginary force called the internet that you could get anywhere, right? Almost all the TVs are Wi-Fi compatible, all the devices, phones, and the kids just figure out the menu like little geniuses. I mean,
Yeah,
those are the next people that are going to live in this world and control stuff, and it's
that is
being
scary.
manipulated by these things.
And they already come wired like that because even when Ruby was younger, she figured out how to download games, remember? From the Play
Right.
Store. And she was like 2.
Yeah, it's funny. They're
So I
rewired.
think, yeah, I think they are born different. And it's going to be scary. The
What I do
future.
find funny is that when they get into that little rut of trying to watch screens and we take them outside,
Oh, they
they
prefer
light up,
outside.
right? They light up. It's a whole world that's like, wow. And then they don't want to go back to that other world, which I think
Yeah.
is really cool. So maybe
Yeah.
We could
Yeah.
get one of those cataclysms that just doesn't affect everybody, but just the screen watchers. No, I'm
Yeah.
kidding. I don't want that. I'm just saying,
Yeah. No.
maybe it would be a good thing for certain aspects of our reality to reset.
Yeah.
Like the people that want to have a reset, we could reset them and just cut our children off from their influence altogether and just let them learn from the world.
Yeah. Because I do tell, to our kids that what they see on the screens, a lot of the stuff is not real.
Oh my God. I looked over into the chat and they're in there talking about condiments and edible undies and damn. This is the right channel for those discussions. I'll bring that next time we come on. I'll probably have the most outlandish stories to present to you, Anna.
But I do want you to mention about the commercial we saw the other day on TV about the robotic arm thing that you said that was a thing.
Oh yeah.
In your
Well, no,
childhood.
I was just sitting there thinking, when I was a kid, I'd watch all these sci-fi movies about people with their robotic arms and their robotic legs, and it seemed almost silly, or not silly, but something really far-fetched in the future, something that's going to, I'd be old when it happens. Now I'm sitting there watching Antenna TV for a minute, and I can't get over the programming that's coming out of it because it's like comical, right? You don't even watch a show. You just flip through it for a minute and you see what kind of stupid stuff's on. It's like murder, 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 simulated murder, murder, history about murder. Here's a pharmacy commercial. Have you taken this pill? You could take this other pill to cover up the symptoms of that pill. And you might die.
I wish that was banned. I wish that the pharmaceutical industry was not allowed to advertise their products to
that might happen
on TV.
Believe it or not, that might happen. That might be some positive thing that happens.
Because in other countries, the pharmaceuticals, other countries, they can't do that. Ads on TV about,
Yeah.
No.
Well, it's funny because we'll get back to the story though. There's this commercial that comes on that says, "Do you got limited mobility? Do you need a robot arm?" And they're showing all these people at their house, making sandwiches, tossing salads. Not that kind. But anyway, I'm sure you could use those devices for whatever you want. But anyway, it's giving people like it's one positive technology thing that's a reality, and I was tripping on that. But it's on
like
TV.
A robotic arm that you put on and it helps you with mobility.
Yeah, you can just strap on. It's a strap on. It's a strap on, and you can identify as a robot.
Yeah.
Or cyborg or android. I don't know the definitions.
That was a stupid commercial. Yeah.
Well, it's cool, but at the same time, it's like, wow, there we are. We're living in the future where bionic arms are sold on infomercials on Antenna TV.
Biotronics.
Call now. But then if we live long enough, we'll see these commercials that say, "Did you buy a bionic arm in the 2020s? Did you suffer injury from this? That's okay, because we got a pill. It may cause diarrhea, fatal this and that, and some cancer, but don't worry about it."
Yeah, that's another thing. Like now, so I do want to clarify, we don't pay for a cable service or anything like that, right? It's just an antenna TV that we get.
Bootleg Netflix.
But no, like in the local TV channels, because that's where we see like the commercials and the pharmaceuticals, and like now it's a joke to you and me when we watch the TV and there's like commercials. We're like, oh fuck, like is it worth like taking that pill for dry eyes? But you might bleed out of your butthole, like you know what I mean?
Well, I think it's funny because I'm not going to say what we're doing, but we're relaxing for the day and we flip on that thing for maybe 10, 15 minutes or let it play in the background sometimes. And it's just funny because it's all commercial. There's never a show. When the show comes on, you get bored and you go, "Oh, I didn't even want to watch that." And you flip it again. They're back on the infomercials. But don't worry, with Lipozene, you could lose weight. I couldn't believe that was still on. from when I was a kid. The same commercial. I was like, damn, they ain't lost weight yet.
So I was actually very impressed with that because I do remember, like, when I first moved to the US in early 2000s, that lipocene was a thing, and like lipocene, and I was surprised to find out that lipocene still in the market, and apparently it's not that bad.
Helping
that it's
millions
still
of
in the
people,
market,
allegedly.
allegedly, of course.
Right.
But yeah,
No, the
it's
ones that trip me out are the ones that say, if you took this other thing, and it caused these bad things to happen to you, take this pill instead of stop taking that other one, and then you can have some new side effects, but not the old ones. So it'll cover the old side effects, and then you'll get another pill to cover those side effects. And before long, you're a pharmacy at your house.
yeah,
And then
yeah,
people wonder why they're all losing their minds everywhere.
like Brandy Bond, R.I.P. said the pharmaceutical industry wants you as a customer
Allegedly.
allegedly from cradle to grave. Actually, it's actually before cradle. Is in not in vitro, but the baby is inside still. How do you
Yeah,
call
don't
that?
do that.
Not in vitro, but
Yeah. We don't know
whatever.
words here. We
No,
don't know
I
the
don't.
words.
I don't know the words.
But you mean when there's, a little meatball in there?
Yes.
Who
Yes.
shot Nellie in the belly with a meatball? Don't take this while you're pregnant or think about being pregnant.
No,
No,
they actually recommend certain vaccinations for pregnant women. And I
oh,
said
that's
the bad
good.
word.
Don't do it. I mean, don't say it. You already said it. But
I
that's
know.
commercials. That's not you saying it.
No.
We'll probably get banned.
Oh, fuck. I'm sorry.
You can say fuck. You can say fuck. You can be inappropriate about all kinds of things. You can fart through flour, evidently. And you can do all these things. You know what? Do you guys a favor out there in the audience. Do yourself a favor and Google, what is it? Bikini wax? Bikini
Oh
wax,
my
I
God.
think.
No, don't. People don't.
Right?
Don't do that.
But I get banned for saying stuff.
Right.
I say stuff, hurty words sometimes. But you can learn how to do a bikini wax the right way on YouTube. And it's
You
not
can.
even, I don't even think it's like, I think it's E for everyone. No, I'm
It's
just joking.
educational. That's why.
I
It's
know
for
it's educational.
educational purposes.
I'm waiting for him to get bold and do someone that just identifies and give them a bikini wax live on their YouTube channel.
I don't think they do that. Or maybe they do. I don't know.
Why
I'm
not?
certain.
Somebody should sue and say, hey, they showing their junk. Why can't I show mine? For educational reasons, just to show people how to do something. So, like, according to that, somebody could just say, this is how you do a Prince Albert. Right here.
Right.
This is how you do it.
Prince Albert.
Don't worry about it. It's educational. But if you try to educate people, you'll get banned. That's just how it works.
Definitely.
Anyway, let me see. Let me see another anecdotal article here that's pretty cool. Just
Okay.
Just to have fun. Ancient reptile footprints up in theories about when animals evolved to live on land. That's right. You might have been walking around, or your ancestors, before they say that you did. Maybe you weren't just a little fish that jumped out and started walking around. What do you have any thoughts on this scientific stuff from like 350 million years ago? Right here. The discovery suggests that first animals emerged from the ocean around 400 million years ago. They evolved the ability to live exclusively on land much faster than previously assumed. In other words, this article says that the people that know the stuff, they don't really know the stuff. Like, it changes all the time when we get a new opinion or a new piece of factoid. So yeah, maybe you're not just a little fishy.
Fish in the water.
I just learned that fishes is a word, and now I feel like a bunghole I feel like a bunghole for correcting people, saying I thought it was fish. That's the plural. No, evidently, if there's more than one kind of fish in the same area, it's fishes. So that's
Oh,
been correct the whole time.
but it is not about plural, meaning like
No, it is plural. It's a double plural.
double dare.
Plurality, man.
Cool. Now we know.
Yeah.
Now we
And I
know.
wanted to show you this too, because I'm always talking about it, so I'm gonna bug you with it. Not that one. This one right here. I told you the drones were coming. I told you they were gonna just drop out of the sky. I wasn't that crazy guy on the corner. They really are doing that now.
Damn.
It's the
That's
mothership,
scary.
y'all. It's the mothership. Oh, we got these. Guaranteed. Everybody with the real military probably has 2 or 3 versions of this, but they're just bragging, so we'll leave them alone and buy their cheap goods.
Where are they? What is this from?
This is China.
Oh,
It's their drone mothership. New high
that's
altitude aircraft.
scary.
No, it is. You know what's scary about that is I predicted before kind of was on the news that we were about to go into the era of drone warfare. And then, of course,
I remember.
Russia and Ukraine started doing it. But that was actually late. They were already doing it in the Middle East. Killbots is what they're calling it. And I was just watching this one earlier about an American entrepreneur, kind of like Musk, but with a mullet. And he makes all of these AI things, defense systems, and blow you up in your house from your Wi-Fi settings. He knows where you're at. That's why we're in a scary world with the privacy, because your phone says, "Hey, look, there he is." We've already finger scanned you,
Yeah.
retinal scanned you, and we're taking pictures of him right now. So
Yeah.
if you ever get, on the wrong side of one of these foreign intelligence agencies, they might just find you. Bink.
Oh, yeah.
Bink you on
Easy.
the head. Because they've already doing it on the border, just 90 miles from where we live. There's already drone warfare happening, and they're not making it a big deal. But cartels are using drones to assassinate people and attack the border patrol. And now that the whole area is a militarized zone, we're going to see more and more of that.
There's a lady drones in
Lady
Mexico.
drones. What's that?
She is part of a cartel, and one of the cartels, and she is a female that is in charge of the of using the drones, or the manage, or the controlling the
Right.
yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Controlling the drone. So that's why they call her Lady Drones.
Well, don't
Allegedly, she was
Allegedly.
responsible. Allegedly,
That's
she was
today's word.
responsible. What's the word of the week?
Allegedly.
Allegedly, she was responsible for one of the attacks that 2 Mexican soldiers in the mountains, where some drones came in and blew up some
Right.
cargo.
What'd you
Mhm.
think about those influencers in Latin
Oh,
America
God.
that got
I don't know about the
deleted?
second one. Can you tell me about it? Because
I
I know
have to
about
look
the
it up.
Mexican
I
one,
think it was like a Brazilian lady, or
but I
maybe
don't
it was
know.
somewhere
Like,
else.
I know about the Mexican one, but yeah, for those that don't know, is this Mexican influencer that had, I don't know how many subscribers, and she was on Instagram, I believe, doing an Instagram live, and she got killed doing a live stream. And allegedly, they said it was a hit that her boyfriend, or I don't know if it was her boyfriend, but she was with him before. A cartel member sent that hit because he didn't appreciate people sending her gifts. He saw that as a disrespect. So
Yeah, that's
he
crazy.
sent a hit for her life. Yep. But I
So
don't know,
she was live streaming when
on
this
Instagram. Yeah.
happened.
Yep. They're still doing a
Influencer
lot of
shot dead.
research. Yeah. But I don't know about the Brazilian one. I don't
I
know.
didn't find it, but that's just crazy that there's so many nuts out there. Oops, I shouldn't have said that. We might get a visit too. That's what's messed up about it, is you can't
Yeah.
talk on the internet without people trying to dox you or mess with your life personally. Show up at your house uninvited. Some of you guys know what I'm talking about out there. Or
Yep.
like you know, not to be mean, but there was this a while back, I had someone trying to be my friend on the internet, like on all of any avenue they could connect with me. They told me they loved me and they wanted to be with me. And there she is right there.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. No, I wasn't talking about you, actually. I'm
I know
joking.
you
It
weren't.
was
I know I know
somebody
it's
else.
you. We're
And
talking exactly. Yeah.
and I was just, I kept thinking, they brainwashed me on these early 80s movies. You remember Fatal Instinct and all that? Maybe it's 90s. I don't know. But no, stop it. I'm not going to,
No.
describe them or anything, but
No. No.
I don't want them to multiply.
No. No.
And I'm not even online that much. That's what's so funny about that. So I hate it. Like, you poor girls, somebody's like, "Oh, I like you." And then now you have a new friend for life and you don't even know them.
I still remember Carlos Martinez forever.
That guy was funny back in the day, back in the live streaming days.
When
Yeah, he used to
YouTube
come in.
was different.
He was prepared, huh? For
Yeah.
being
Oh
banned.
yeah. Yeah. It
You
was
kick him out?
a guy. It was a hate. Was he a hater? I mean, he was
No,
always
I
there
don't think
every time
so.
I stream.
No, I think what it was is no one was paying attention to him, so he had to be vulgar, and then somebody bounced him out of the chat, and then he came back with the next name, so he had it all planned out. It was like whatever Carlos something forever, and then he would come back Carlos Forgiver again.
Yep.
Yeah, it was
Yep.
funny.
I remember. But that was on my channel when I do have. I'm not. My channel is not like Ransoms. Ransoms, you free speech. Everybody, you want to make a fool of yourself? Go ahead in the chat. Everybody will see it. No,
Right.
in my channel and the Raven Wolf channel, yeah, I do have only certain mods, and yeah, so that's why we're able to block him, and then he'll come back with a different username. Very creative. I will give him that. Very, very creative.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. Anyway, this was kind of a laid back stream this time. We'll be a little more prepared with stuff. I think we're gonna do like some of the weird crimes that are happening with a little more information case by case about the stuff we talk about, and and then also my style of just looking at wacky news. And
Yeah.
that's going to be the new format for the R&R show every Saturday right here on revolution.radio. And if you like free speech, please think about donating to revolution.radio, because it's still one of the last free speech avenues people have. There's a lot of different shows. Our friend from the Oppenheimer Ranch Project and his partner, Leah, they have a great show every Saturday at noon. I think it's noon on Studio A, I believe. Anyway, you can look out. They always do their repeat on YouTube as well. But there's a lot of different shows on there with a lot of different opinions, and it's really cool. And think about
Including
helping.
yours with Divine too.
Oh yeah, and that one, the civilization cycle. If you want to help us out for our show, for this show, you can see the link in our shameless plug there at the bottom of the screen.
But
And-
anyways, it was nice being back, and
Right.
I hope everybody bear with me with my getting tongue twisted sometimes.
Tongue twisted. That's
Or
what I like
something like
about you,
that.
though. That's what attracted me to you. I'm kidding. Anyway, I think we're about to round off the show there. I think we got like 1 minute left. Is there anything left you would like to say?
No,
Anna.
thank you for
no-
watching.
Yeah,
and
right.
Hopefully we'll see you guys soon.
And anything going to go on your Raven Wolf channel?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Just
It's a secret. It's a secret club,
no.
y'all.
I have some videos planned but not released, so maybe.
All right, that sounds good. Don't forget to check out Anna Navarro on the Raven Wolf channel on YouTube. And this is Mountain High Time. And this is the longest 1 minute I've ever seen. It's been like 7:56 forever. Anyway, peace out, Revolution Radio, and thanks for watching. or
Bye,
listening
everybody.
or everything. There, we hung up on the radio. Now, anything you want to say, like some cuss words you need to get out of your system, you can say it on
I
YouTube.
feel bad. I said the F word. Is that gonna?
No, it's YouTube. They don't care about that. They
Not
just don't want.
YouTube.
Oh, on the radio.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was probably bad. You shouldn't do that.
And then
Potty
you said
mouth.
it too. And then you said it too. So
Did I?
yeah, you repeated what I said. And other words too.
We'll try not to do that next time here on the R&R show. Anyway, peace out, everybody.
Oopsie.
Oopsie kitty.
Oopsie kitty.